What is a computer program? So the computer program is can be described as this. So you have input to a computer program, and then you have output, and then in between you have processing. So this is usually set of computer instructions. These instructions are sequential. That means it runs one after the runs one after other. Okay. There are many languages or computer languages, so we use computer languages to give instructions. So the instructions are different. I mean, it looks different in many languages. We will start with a simple visual programming tool, and then we can move into a real computer language like C. So it is but the thinking, computational thinking, is same in almost all the languages. So you can do the same thing, the similar thing in every computer language. So yesterday I show you this Scratch tool, which is developed by MIT, the American University. We will go through that. So when you go through, go to the Scratch site. So this one, I think some of you may have seen, and this is very simple, but I want everybody to get the initial concepts or the fundamental concept of programming. So when you master that concept, you can easily, I mean, within 1 or 2 days, you can move into the other language like C. So you can do the similar thing in C as well. So we will move into C maybe in 2 or 3 lectures after. So we will move into C, and you can we can go a little bit faster when we do something like that. So when you start a program, so there should be a starting point. Okay, so there should be a starting point. Okay, so we call it starting place. Okay, and then we go into the next section, and finally you have to end your program. So when you write a program, so there should be we will have some instructions here. You have to have a starting place and the ending place. So any language, if you write in C or Java or C# or Scratch, you should have a starting place and the ending place. So the computer will start executing instructions from here to here. So once you come here, your program finishes. It can be you close the program, or it can be normally pressing a key or whatever. You can select how you end your computer program. Okay, so now we will go to Scratch. And here this is a visual tool, so you can drag and drop instructions. So first we should have, I will go to the event section, and I will drag the event when this clicked. So when this click means it will start. Now this is the starting point. When I click this flag, green flag, so it will start this program. So this is my starting point. And then I want to output something. So you go to looks. So when so now we have two instructions, one instruction and the starting point. And ending point is not visible here, but it will, when the instructions are finished, your program ends. So now I will press this one, and you can see your cat says hello. So this is how we give instructions, and now we want to do something a little bit advanced. Okay, so our first program, so we just say hello. Okay, so what we did was we print, or we output is hello. So this is a text. We use another word for this text. We use in computing, we call it string as well. Okay, string means like a thread. So so the string of characters, actually it's the meaning, string of characters. Okay, so in our first program, what we did was we print a text or string. Okay, we call it string. In the program. Okay, in our second program, what we are going to do is we want to little bit improve it. So first one, we have to ask a question. Okay, so something like what is your name, something like this. So when you ask a question, what happened is you need an answer. Okay, and after that, what you want to do, say you print the answer or output, or print the answer. Okay, so how do you do it in Scratch? Okay, so I will remove this instruction, and now you want to go for ask a question. So it is, the questions are in the sensing section, and you can ask a question. There's a instruction for that. So when you ask a question, you can ask. So I will run this now, and you can see you have the input box. So I will write a name, Tom. So that's all. Your program finishes, because so you only have one instruction. So now you don't do anything with it. So you give the answer, and the answer, with the answer you don't do anything. So now I want to print the answer. For that, what I want to do is I want to go to looks, and again I will try to print it. So now if I run, what will happen is, say we will run this, and you give the name, and it prints not the name, hello. So instead of this hello, you want to print the answer. So what you want to do is you have to get the answer. So in Scratch, when you ask a question and the answer is stored or remembers in a variable, we call it the entity called answer. So you can get this one and put it here. So now it's not a constant value. Earlier, whatever the name you gave, it will print hello. Now it will print the answer. That now it is your program is little bit advanced, and you give some value, and that value will be printed. So we will see what happened now. So we will need when we press and enter, you can see now the cat is saying Tom. So that means you are printing the answer. So if you give another name, say Samad, and it will print that name. So you can see, depending on the input, your this answer, the entity or the object answer is changing. Okay, so we call these changing stuff variables, because you know variables are the things you vary. Okay, so we call these kind of things. So depending on your input, the thing inside this object answer is changing. So we call this stuff uh, variables. Okay, so now, so in this one, what we had a new improvement. So we have input instruction, and then we remember or store the answer. Okay, and then we print or output answer. So actually now, so you have in the input, okay, and the output. Okay, so you don't do any process. So you just input a name and you just do the output. Okay, so so this is not useful actually. So you need to do some processing as well. So in our third program, we will improve this little bit. So we ask the name and then get the answer, and now we want to print hello and the name answer. So you want to do some processing. So you we are not printing the answer raw answer. We just process it and another string or another text to the answer, and we are going to print it. So now we have the all three steps: input, process, and output in this program. Okay, so we will try to do this using Scratch. Okay, so how do you do it now? Okay, so you want to print, say hello. So I will put this one here and print the answer. So we want to do this. So now we get the we ask a question and get the answer, and then we print hello, and then we print answer. Okay, so now we will run this and see what happens. So let's ask what's your name? I will say Tom, and Tom Brown is my name. Okay. So now you can see it prints Tom Brown, but it didn't print hello. So what is the reason? So there's a error. Oh, okay. There's an error here. Okay. So what is this problem? Okay, so I just copied the program here. You ask the question, the cat. It asks the question, and then it print the name, Tom. How do you draw a cat? So your cat is like this. Okay. So this cat said Tom. It didn't say hello. So can anyone tell what is the issue with this program? It doesn't matter whether you get wrong. Just can you I mean there are people who has written programs. Yeah, but so one answer is there that your variable contain only Tom, but here I'm printing hello. The cat, I'm asking cat to show hello. Yeah, so yeah, there was a right answer as well. So the right answer is actually when you execute these instructions, they are so fast. Your computer is so the computer is very fast. So you can see your computer is usually say 3 gigahertz, something like that. So what is the meaning of this? Okay, so this meaning is 3 clock cycles. 3 into 10 to the power 9 is giga clock cycles. So usually one instruction, depending on the type of instruction, it takes sometimes it can take 1 clock cycle or several clock cycles, like if it is a division or some complex operation, it can take more cycles, but still you can see it's in the range of nanoseconds. Okay, so you cannot see the instructions are, I mean, if you execute instructions one after the other, it is so fast. So you cannot see them. So here the first instruction, the first one, we have thing called wait. So you ask the question and wait. So we ask the computer to wait until we give the input. So that is why it is waiting. But here we are not no wait or no delay or whatever. So we cannot see it because it prints this hello, and just after that the cat says answer. Okay? Whatever the answer you give, so it will override the answer. So that is why you cannot see it. So how do you change it? So there are different ways of changing. You can give an delay. So there are ways of giving delays in there are ways of giving delays in Scratch. So you can see, so you can say something like this instead of this, you can say something like this. So now you will say, so what is your name? Hello, Tom. Okay, so now the cat is saying both words, but what I want is I want to, this is not the desired output, the output I am looking for. Okay, so I'm not, I don't want something like hello and Tom or something like that. I want to say hello Tom. Okay, so now I have to do something else. So this is not the way I want to write. This is not the desired output. Okay, so I will put this. Yeah. So what I want is I want to anyway print print hello Tom. Okay, so what I want, so this is my answer, and this is another string, we call it strings or text. So I want to add them. So in computer programming, we to add these two strings, we use different names. So we can use join, sometimes we use concatenate. Okay, so there are different, or we can say add, okay, add two strings. So you have to add two text. So one is the answer, the other one is hello. Okay, so you have to use some operations to do this. So most of the programming languages gives us an operator, okay, some function to do this. Okay, in Scratch also you have something like this. So we will go to Scratch, and then we have, so we have to go to the operators. So there's an operator section, because here is the place where you have the operators, predefined operators. So you can see you have this addition, multiplication, those kind of operators, greater than, equals, and those kind of operators. So we will go one by one, and you can see there is an operator called join. So this is what we want to do. So we want to join two strings. So one is hello, and then the other one is the answer. Okay, so now we have something similar to the output we need. Okay, so now we put it here, and now we will run this, and I will press, I will enter Tom, and you can see it says hello Tom, and there's no space in between. So this string, one of these string should contain a space here or here. So it is easy to enter a space here. So I will enter a space. So now, okay, hello Tom is there. Okay, so now you can see we have the desired output we want. Okay, okay, so now we have the input. So input a name, and then the output. Output is hello name. Okay, and so this here what we do is we process, the process is done, we join two strings. Okay, so this is what we did in the third program. So we will go to the next program. Fourth program. Okay, so now we want to get a number from the user. User means the user. So this is the person who is using the program. So we call it that person the user. So we get a number from the user, and what we want to do is we want to print the number is less than 50 or greater than or greater than or equal to 50. So this is one. So we have input. So input is a number. And now we will do some operation. So what we want to do is here in the processing, we want to check the input for a condition. So this is important. So what we are doing here, we check for a condition and then output formulate or calculate. Okay, output depending on the input. Okay, so now our output is not the same. Okay, so it can change. Earlier it is same output. Same means similar output. So we have the name and we print hello name. So we don't the name changes depending on input, but the output is the format of the output is same. So the format is hello plus name. Okay, but here you can see the output. We have two outputs. One is the number is less than 50. The other one is number is greater than or equal to 50. Okay, so how do you do this? So in computer programming, so we call this as conditionals. Okay, conditionals, conditions. Conditions or checking conditions. Okay, so how do you do it in English? So English, how this conditionals we use if I study well, something like that, I will be able to pass or the exam or whatever, something like that. Okay, so this is the second. The output is pass or fail. It can be pass or fail. Okay, so this condition pass or fail depend on this condition. If you study well, or you will be able to pass the exam. Okay, so if you study well, if you don't study well, you will fail. That the meaning. So there are two. So if any condition, there are two cases. One is the condition is true. The other one, the condition is false. Okay, so these are the two. I mean, if you have a condition, there are two cases. One is the condition can be true. The other one, the condition can be false. Okay, so now we will see. Now we want to get the input and check whether the number is greater than 50, and then print the output according to that. And start the program. And now we want to input something, ask a question. So now my question is, please input the number. So now I'm waiting. So now I want to store this in the answer. Okay, so now this answer will be stored in this answer. So now what I want to do is, I want to check this answer is greater than 50 or not. So to do that, I want to go to controls. In the controls, you have different controls. How the control the flow of your program. So in our previous program, our flow was linear. I mean, it doesn't any control. So you take the input and do some processing. It just join numbers and then output. Okay, so this is our flow. But what we can do is, we can change the flow, or we can control the flow of our program. So to control every program language has control. So here you have different controls. You have repeat, forever, if else, wait, repeat. There are so many controls. So here what I want is, I want and condition. So this is my condition. So if something is true, so if I study well or something like that, then if it is true, then we do this one. Else means if it is not true, we will do this part. So this is how we want to control. Now we want to have two outputs depending on input. So we have to check now. So to check, we have to do an operation, because we want to check whether the number is greater than or equal to 50. Okay. So if it is less than 50, so we can check now. If something is less than 50, then you want to do this, else you want to do this. So what we want to check is, we want to check the answer. Okay, so we get the answer and we check whether the answer is now less than 50. If it is less than 50, we say the number is less than 50. Okay, else if it is not true, equal Okay, so now we have this thing, and we will run this one as a number, and we enter 34. So it says number is less than 50, and again we will run this, and we say 59. Number is greater than or equal to 50. Okay, and what happens if you enter 50? Okay, it says number is greater than or equal to 50. So it goes to this one, because this condition is false when it is not less than 50. So if the answer is less than 50, so when the answer is equal to 50, this condition is false. So it will go to this place, okay, this location. Okay, so this is our fourth program, and now we want to make it little bit advanced. So now our fifth program. So you input two numbers, add them, and if the sum or addition, summation is greater than 100, print sum is greater than 100, else print sum is less or equal to 100. So now what is the difference here? So we have the first difference is we are getting two numbers. Earlier we had only one input. So we remember or store it in the variable called answer. Okay. So now, so we have since two numbers, we cannot use this variable, because if you store the first number here, and then the second time if you try to remember the second number, the first number will be overwritten. Okay, the second number will overwrite the first number. So how do you solve this? To solve this, we need two placeholders. So two folders, or we call them in variables. So we need two variables to store these two numbers. So like answer, you have something like this. So this we can solve this number. So we can give names. So you num2. So then using these names, like you have everyone of this class has a name or number. Okay, so we can use these names to access the values of these two numbers. Okay, so in any programming language, these concepts are there. So now we need to do it in Scratch, and take an event. And then first number, ask a question, input first the first number, and now we want that number will be saved in the answer. So so we cannot, so we can ask the second question as well, input the second number. So now when you input this one, the answer will be stored in this answer placeholder or answer variable, we call it. Okay, so now we have to have two different or two unique places or variables to store them. So we go to variable section, there's a variable section, and we create a variable. Okay, so there's actually I have created one variable, number one. Okay, so I will create another variable, say number two. So the previous time I have created variable. So I have now two variables. One is number one and the second one is number two. So now you can set these, so since these variables are there, you can store different values in this variable. So I can store, so you can select, so when there's a drop down box, you can select the variable name where this in your program has access to. Okay, and now we go to this one and you can have something like that. So now what happened is you get the answer and you take the answer and set or put it into the variable number one, and you have to do the same thing for the second question. So second question was this one, and you have used number two and get the answer here, and now you have these two numbers. Okay, okay, so now you have these two numbers. Now you have to do an addition. Okay, so how do you do the addition? There are operators. So you have the operators, and then you go to the variables and you can say number one and number two are there. So now you have the addition. So this addition is there. So you can so now you have to check this addition is greater than or equal to 50, and then print the addition is greater than or equal to 50. So you have to check it now. For that you have to go to the if condition. Okay, and then you have to check this addition is greater than or equal to 50. So you go to the operators again and you get whether this is greater than or equal to 100. The sum greater than or equal to 100. So sum is this one. Okay, so now you can see you have printed, and now you just only, if this is true, you have to say sum is greater than 100, else you have to say sum is less or equal than 100. Okay, so now if you run this, you enter one number and you enter the second number, and so the number is 12 and 45 and entered. So the sum is less than or equal to 100. So if I enter two numbers like 36 and 87, so now it's printed sum is greater than 100. So now you can see our program is working fine.